Okay, I think it's now June. Yeah, it's June. It's winter here in South Africa, Johannesburg. Do I need to have said that? It doesn't matter. That explains the sweater, though. Let me do this. Hope, Hopefully, you can hear me well when I've done that. Recently, just finished reading Captain Blood by Rafael Sabatini. I think it was published in 1922, but nobody should really care about that. Why am I reviewing this? This is for people that had New Year's resolutions in December 2024, and now it's June and you still haven't started. I mean, I was like, I'm gonna review books on YouTube. No longer on my WhatsApp status, is on YouTube for more people to see. And I'm like, it's now June. I still haven't done this. All right, that done. That little bit rant of a self-doubt of myself. Recently finished Captain Blood, and I highly recommend it. If you've always wanted to get into reading, okay, but you're like, I don't know where to begin. There's so much, and I have self-doubt. Am I gonna understand it? I hated reading when I was in high school. When I was in tertiary, all I ever did was to read books that are expository books, books on engineering, chemistry, or whatever you went to varsity for, or something like that. And you're like, why would I be reading for fun? I highly recommend you read this. Okay, this is because when you read fiction, imaginary literature, it helps you. It's in the phrase imaginary literature. It helps expand your imagination. It helps make your life a bit more colorful. At least in my case, instead of just watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or any of those, and I'm not against those. I'm just saying that we've lost something when we gave up on books, if we ever were into books. That said, let's begin with Captain Blood by Rafael Sabatini. I keep reading his name because it's so foreign to me. Anyhow, Captain Blood, Peter Blood. Okay, so this is a book that follows a man that is in his early 30s. And he's been to jail, he's been to war, he's been to this, so on and so forth. But now he's like, I'm going to settle down. He goes to this small town. I don't remember where it is, but he goes to this small town. He's starting his medical practice. This is what he actually went to school for, to be a doctor. But because he had to be in the army and this and that, he's never really had to practice what he learned, right? So now he's in medication, if we could call it that. He's now a doctor. He's starting to establish his name in this small town, and people know his name. But there's a rebellion brewing in the background. I think this is a Monmouth rebellion on King James or kingdom or whatever chieftaincy, whatever. Something that he didn't really want to be a part of. And I love the opening lines because he says that he was that day he didn't go to the church sermon. He wasn't interested in this, and he was watering his. I had to Google this geraniums. If it's pronounced that, is it geraniums or geraniums? I had to Google it. I thought maybe it's a medical apprentice or something like that. Apparatus, I meant to say. It's not, it's a plant. He's watering it, pss, 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 pss. And these ladies, his neighbors are looking at him in a very disdainful way. They're like, you can't be watering plants on this day. This is the day men go to war. Ah! Of course, my fella is like, nope, I'm done with all of this crap. And he had some intelligence which I won't go into anyway, just not to spoil it. Anyway, the battle goes on. The guys that were in his town are gonna get captured and all of that, and their leader gets injured. So because he's a doctor, they sent one of the guys back home to go fetch him and then attend to this guy. So while he's attending to this guy, who was part of the rebellion, he's also captured by the King James warriors or soldiers. So now he's going to be tried and then he's sent into slavery. He was supposed to be decapitated. That's the standard rule, I think, of treason. But then luck sends him into slavery. That's why I put air quotes because I'm like, how can you go into slavery and call that luck? When he's in slavery, other things happen, particularly the thing that his slave master uncovers that this guy is a medical doctor and we can make more money if he's practicing medicine, particularly on the island's governor. I don't remember how that was uncovered. But one day he was talking to this lady, which he actually fancied. If you really read it, you don't even have to really read it, but he fancied that lady, and he felt so invigorated about life was springing back into him after he spoke to that lady. And then he remembered something. I'm not sure if you can see these two lines over here, but it's like it's a song from Lovelace that says, "Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. Even though he was afforded a lot of freedom, unlike other slaves, because of his medical practice, he could go to this house, that house, instead of staying at the plantation, doing all that laborer's work that we can associate with slavery. Uh, he remembered after he spoke with this lady that he truly fancied that he's still a slave either way. So this concocted in his mind every day. Now we have to escape. There's this fella that he's really close with, and they haven't been talking for some time. You know how life goes about. And then the, some luck, something happened. Even without the luck, the work's already in the way, but they were most likely to fail, I think. But some luck, piracy sprung into the island, they managed to escape. Now, their escape sent on to this adventurous story, fantastical story about him being a pirate, being Captain Blood, raiding Spanish ships, exerting revenge on the Spanish, hating King James, and all of that. It's a fantastical story. Okay, it has some elements of what grounds a man into being a civilized man, or what I call a man. All of those, forgive my ass. I think I've said too many times, but it's that type of a story, and it at the beginning, or towards the beginning, it has so much remnants from the Count of Monte Cristo. This is a far bigger book, and this is a more grounded book, by the way, than this one. This one sounds more like a imaginary literature. It sounds too fantastical. Too many things happen that could not have happened. Not saying that even in here there are not too many things that happened that could not have happened. They are there. But this one, it's I think I read it last year or last of last year, and this is a much better novel. This is not to take credit away from Captain Blood. And hey, get back to topic. It's about Captain Blood, not the Count of Monte Cristo today. Where was I? It doesn't matter. Let me start wherever I wanna, or continue wherever I wanna begin. So this guy is now a big pirate. He's now famously known. He does this, he does that. He gets captured. He maneuvers things that he couldn't have done, and it's a fantastical story all the way back home. I think it's called Captain Blood, His Odyssey, or the Odyssey. So it's quite good. The disadvantages of the book, if I could call them, is that at the beginning, if you've read The Count of Monte Cristo, it's so much like The Count of Monte Cristo. So you might find that to be a bit setting off. But as it takes ground, it starts to be like, this is me. And then it delves more into piracy than into the revenge story, which The Count of Monte Cristo does. But one of the main disadvantages, or why I didn't like it that much, relative to the Count of Monte Cristo, just to give you a numerical basis, I would give the Count of Monte Cristo an 8 point something, whereas I give Captain Blood a 6 point something. That doesn't mean Captain Blood is a bad book. It's actually a fantastic book, and I highly recommend it if you want to get into reading, and if you have a young child that you want to get into reading. Or when I was young, I didn't read, but I once saw a novel, not a novel, a book pamphlet that they give you at garages, a filling station. I think my father got it, and it was about super strikers. It has some images that can guide you there. It was quite good when I was young. I think that's the only thing I read when I was young. That was outside of school. But this would set you on the path of reading. I assure you of that. It's not a difficult novel. It's not confusing, and it's not tiring. At some point, I got tired, but who cares about that? It took me like 10 days to read it, and I think it's 320, 330 type of pages, and I'm a slow reader. So that's like 30 pages a day, 10 in the morning, 10 after work, 10 before bed. What did I not like about it? Some of its flaws, like I said, is too fantastical. Some of the things I'm like, that couldn't have happened in the real world. Particularly his love story with this lady that set or sprang into his head that he's still a slave and he needs to escape. They are gonna meet again. That sets the basis of the novel if you read about it. The other thing that I found when I say it's too fantastic, I don't even think I'm using the word correctly. What I mean is just that it's not too realistic. The other thing that I found about is that every time they are stuck in a conundrum, something bad is about to happen, he always has a solution out. I hate that even in movies. Okay. I don't know what I wrote there. I think it says that this took about 3 to 4 years, all the events in there. They felt like a season, or maybe from winter to summer. It didn't feel like 3 to 4 years that I'm talking about. When you're reading the Count of Monte Cristo, you can feel the brunt of time going through with this one. And there are chapters where they are in Italy, they will torture you. They will make you suffer. But you will appreciate it at the end. You can start off kind of feel the essence of time when you're reading those. However, when I was reading this, before May, I had finished How to Read the Book by Adler and von Doren. And one of the things that they said that I loved, okay, and I'm going to quote you that on how to read imaginary literature, that is novels, is that they said this, and I love this line. It's actually three lines, is we must act in such a way when reading a story that we let it act on us. We must allow it to move us. We must let it do whatever work it wants to do on us. We must somehow make ourselves open to it. This, this is the backbone of everything I'm gonna read going forward. I read this in April and I highly enjoyed that. Okay. Oh, what more can I say about it? What did I have in my notes over here? Okay, there's nothing about it or whatever it's there. I'm not gonna delve much into it. By the way, in case you don't see, in case I seem very clumsy, this is my first YouTube video, if I actually post this. And this month of June, we are gonna start today. We are reading the second, it's not there, it's Second Hand Time, Last of the Soviets. This is by Svetlana Alexeyevich. I hope I pronounced it correctly. I probably didn't. This is the second hand time, Last of the Soviets. This one is not imaginary literature. This is more of an oral history. I would say an oral, I would say history, but she's talking to this guy, that guy, about the Soviet Union, USSR, all the way into Russia or the modern Russia, Russian Federation. Let me know, please, in the comment section. I don't know why people do this on YouTube. I think it's in the comment section. Let me know if you've read Captain Blood, if you want to read Captain Blood, or if you have any questions on it. Just to set you at ease, this should be my second video on when I started reading, why I haven't read so much, and why I started this channel, or why I'm about to start this channel. But in the comments, let me know if you've read Captain Blood, what you like about it, what you're currently reading, what you would like to know about any of the books, whether Count of Monte Cristo, Captain Blood, or Second Hand Time, though I can't comment about Second Hand Time because I'm just starting. Bye bye.